So here I was wondering what the second installment of Marvel the Gathering was going to look like, because by all accounts, we probably weren't going to see much of anything in terms of previews for the Spider-Man set until, I would say, early August. And then someone local to me on Discord who at least admired the first episode, decided to send me this. I think because they just want to torture me a little bit and make me have more Universe Beyond product. So today, even though this is not a commander deck, this is actually two 60 card decks. We will be opening up this Final Fantasy starter kit just to look at the 260 card decks. I don't know that I will go over every card in this deck just because I don't want to make this last forever, but I will definitely look at these two legendary creatures, look at any reprints, any interesting designs. But yeah, let's get into it. And yeah, thanks a lot, John, for sending this to me. So right off the bat, we've got two nice little deck holders here. Not to mention, I'm going to learn how to play Magic, and that's going to be great. Ironically, this might be the second starter kit kind of product that I've ever had. The first one I touched would have been in 2002 when I learned the game through 7th edition. So we'll see. Maybe I will look at this one day and really kind of go like, what have I been missing out on? What does the starter experience look like? But we're not going to get into that. Let's open these two up. Ooh, I can get some arena stuff. I did recently start back into arena, so maybe I can get some kind of arena little. Well, actually, wait, let's look at this real quick. This is just, yeah, this isn't going to be a free pack probably, but all right, let's start with Cloud. I recognize both these characters loosely because I was at least aware of Final Fantasy VII. I am not aware of much to do with anything in regards to actually what these designs look like. So we got Cloud, Planet's Champion, a legendary human soldier mercenary for 3 colorless, red, white. During your turn, as long as Cloud is equipped, it has double strike and indestructible. That's pretty cool. Equipped abilities you activate that target Cloud cost 2 less. Okay, I could see how that would be very helpful in terms of just like getting to know the game, and really leans you into equipment, which is cool. And I feel like a lot of the equipment I'm thinking of is probably going to have 2 or less. But this also opens up to what if I'd like to include equipment that equips for more that just would normally be kind of passed up on. And then actually, as I'm looking here now, we've got the Magali art, which I have become more and more aware of because she did a lot of art for Arkham Horror. So all of a sudden I go to open up that core set and find myself looking at art by an artist that I am very, very aware of from the past. But they got her back for this. I actually feel like she's grown. Maybe she's done a lot of wizard stuff, and I haven't noticed. But I feel like she kind of like went away for a little while. But let's open this up. See what the starter experience looks like here. So they've got a Moogle that does plane cycling. Actually, something that's relevant here is this only costs 5. A lot of plane cycle or a lot of land cycling stuff normally costs 6. So this actually stands out. That's actually, I'm not going to say that any of this is going to be super, super great, but I will certainly say that I think that, that's something I'm noticing. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So we've got 2 copies of that. Seems kind of cool. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce this, but it is a 2-cost 2/2 tap target non-enchantment creature. Okay. Then we've got we've got 4 copies of this. 4 copies of Dorvan Castle Guard, a dwarf soldier, 2-cost. When it dies, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token. I might need those I might need to get myself some hero tokens just for the channel. Fate of Suncrist. Destroy target non-land permanent for 5. This costs 2 less if the target is a tapped creature. Cool. Slash of Light. Deal damage equal to the number of creatures you control plus the number of equipment you control to target creature. I like that. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Then we've got when this artifact. Oh, sorry. Cost 4. When this artifact enters play, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield and generates a white resource or waste resource. Puts white mana into your pool. So it Oblivion Rings essentially, or maybe something more appropriate would be. No, I think Journey to Nowhere does the same thing. Spoiler for future content: I'm considering building a mono white Angels deck around an Angel that I believe is going to have an unconventional build, just because I'm not going to focus on what normally gets focused on. So that might be content in the future once I have established myself a little bit more. But yeah, a O-Ring effect with juice and white mana, not bad. White Mage's Staff. Job select. So when this equipment enters play, create a 1/1 colorless hero token. Oh, do we have those actually in the back here? Okay, cool. Yeah, I might need to just use. Oh, cool. I might need to use these just sort of like to self-promote myself. That's awesome. Let's even set these aside. No, tell me how to work a turn. All right. So you make a white mage, you equip creature, and you attach it to this. Okay, so then the attached creature with +1/+1, and whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life, and is a cleric in addition to its other types. Equips for 3. So we could put this onto Cloud, make him a cleric. It only costs 1 to put it onto him. Bump up his stats, make him indestructible. Oh, that's only on your turn too, so that's an interesting thing. Eldbert Steiner. I did not get very far into Final Fantasy IX. A colorless and a white for a lifelinker, 2/1, and he gets +1/+1 for each equipment you control. Oh, that's okay. That's much better. I was thinking it was attached to him, but it's just you control. Yeah, I like this whole just art. Equipment matters, but it's what do you control, not versus what's on it. The crystals chosen. Create 4 1/1 white colorless creature tokens, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Final Fantasy 3. In the last video, I said I did not like the frames. I still don't love the frames. The art on this is pretty awesome. Dragoon Lance. I apologize. Okay, is this at all? Okay, so I'm probably just going to be compositing in any of these cards just for legibility here. But Dragoon's Lance, colorless white for a job select card. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and is a knight in addition to other types. During your turn, creature gains flying. Equips for 4. Definitely brings me back to... Okay, so the Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Advanced 2 happen to be the Final Fantasy games that I've put in the most hours on, and just anything that references classes from there shouldn't be a big stretch. I'm pretty sure they use classes all over Final Fantasy. They're pretty much the same, but anything that kind of references all that stuff definitely gets my attention. This is out of Final Fantasy 14. I do not know how to pronounce this person's name, but a legendary creature, Cat Archer, for 4 generic and a white reach. 3/5 reach. That's not bad. A little expensive for 5, but yeah, whatever. So this is a starter deck. I'm not going to try to say this. The power level on this is just completely whack. Whenever one or more other creatures and/or artifacts you control die, draw a card. Triggers only once per turn. See, this is going to get me into the ability to have a bunch of commander decks that are Final Fantasy now. Rosa, Resolute White Mage. 3 generic, on a white for legendary creature, human noble cleric, has reach, 2/3 reach. Okay. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains lifelink till the end of turn. I'm not gonna put this into Doran. I have a Doran life gain deck. At the same time, I would consider it. I honestly don't think that's gonna happen. But at the same time, bumping up Doran every turn and giving him lifelink is not the worst thing in the world. Beatrix, Loyal Guard. 4 generic, white for a vigilance 4/4 human soldier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of equipment you control to target creature you control. I like that. It's not the most powerful thing, but you know what? At the same time, I say that I might have some Final Fantasy commander decks coming out of this. It's because I would much rather have a commander deck built around a commander that gives you a hook and isn't the entire answer. And this gives you a hook. You don't have to attack with her, but it does lean you in the direction of you're going to want equipment, and you're going to want to just make one of them big. It pushes you into wanting to use things like, the samurai mechanic out of Neon Dynasty wanted you to attack with just a single warrior or samurai. Additionally, there was the mechanic out of Lara Block originally that was Exalted. Exalted wants you to just attack with one creature. This would be a good commander to put at the front of an Exalted deck. Item Shopkeeper, 2 colorless and a red. Whenever you attack target creature, Whenever you attack target attacking creature, target attacking equipped creature gains menace until the end of turn. And there are 3 copies of that. Cool. Not too much to say. That is very specific, but at the same time, I could see that being something that I would also put into a deck. Got 2 copies of Warrior Sword, another job select card. Equipped creature gets +3/+2, and is a warrior in addition to other types. Equips for 5. It's a common. Not going to be too critical of it. With Cloud here, that actually all of the equipment, even if they're really, really bad, all of the equipment gets less expensive with Cloud. I don't know that I'm going to build a Cloud deck, but I kind of want to now. Suplex, I've seen a meme of this. So that is generic red, choose 1, Suplex, deals 3 damage to target creature. If the creature would die this turn, exile instead, or exile target artifact. Not my favorite kind of removal, but I imagine this is probably just very commonplace. Freya. 1 red rat knight, legendary creature with jump during your turn, has flying. This is a wild card. So then tap, add red, spend this only to cast enchantment spells or activate and equip abilities. This is so dumb, but I could see myself building around this. It doesn't even need to be Rat Tribal. It's just a 1/1 that's flying on my turn. That basically is a Llanowar elf for me in red for equipment. This is not good. I could see myself wanting to build a deck around this too. Samurai Katana, cool. Okay, so now I don't need to bother looking for these. I love Samurai. I really do. But 2 generic red job select card. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has trample and haste, and is a samurai in addition to other types. So I would probably put this into decks with just red in their color identity just to make my commander a samurai and nothing else. It's not even good. It equips for 5, but just the ability to make my commander into a samurai just sounds great. I'm trying to even think about, do I have a deck right now that I would do this with? I wouldn't mind making the Shattergang Brothers into samurai. That'd be kind of cool. Barret is a 3 and red, so a 4-cost human rebel. Ooh, a rebel. I like that. I want to see more rebels. 4/4 reach. Again, that's very weird in red, but whatever. Whenever Barret attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending player. Okay. Lightning. Okay, that's a little bit beyond my time, but at the same time, what does she do? Lightning, security sergeant, 2 colorless and a red, human soldier, legendary creature, menace, 2/3 menace. Okay. Whenever lightning deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card as long as you control lightning. Okay, again, this is literally just opening up my brain cells to go what kind of a deck could I build out of this? Because even if I were to just build decks that were, I guess, okay, let's just completely side tangent, but I could see myself saying I'm going to build some decks to arch enemy against Sephiroth over here. But yeah, I've never dove deep into exile the top card of your library and do that. I know that's a very popular thing now. It's just something that even for the last 5 years I never really got into, but it's still cool. Judgment Bolt, 3 colorless and a red for an instant. Deal 5 damage to a creature and X damage to that creature's controller, where X is the number of equipment you control. Okay. Ultima Weapon. Okay. 7 cost legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target creature an opponent controls. Equipped creature gets +7/+7. Yeah, I could put this on to an Eldrazi. That's where my mind goes. Okay, so we got a bunch of basic lands here, and then the The dual lands, they enter tapped. They are land, town. They make red, white. So yeah, overall, like, power level on this is low, but I can see a bunch of hooks that make me want to take multiple of these legendary creatures and turn them into commanders. So that's cool. And I think this is the kind of thing that I feel like is a good starter product, because I've been a commander player for 14 years. Even during my lapsed time, I've continued to play. I just haven't made new decks. And I think this is a product where you give people a bunch of legendary creatures. And I kind of got off of what I was saying. I've been a commander player for all this time. I don't necessarily think that Commander is the format that I would want to introduce someone to. It's a lot to take in. You have like 100 cards you need to know about. I feel like something like this, get to know the game, and then take one of these creatures that you like and turn them into a commander deck. So it's not that much more of a stretch. It's just I would personally rather introduce someone in a scenario where they only have to take in, like how many cards were here? Probably of the 60 cards, like there were probably 40 different unique cards to take in, as opposed to 99 or 100 unique cards. I guess there's the basic lands, but either way, old man shouts at clouds, just literally shouting at cloud. I would much prefer to learn the game this way, figure out a legendary creature that really inspires me, and then maybe build 100 decks. Is that really different than the current plan of give someone a 100 card deck that they found at the card shop? Maybe not, but that's where my mind goes. So then let's rip this off. Throw that over there. I don't ever want to see you again. All right, we didn't even look at Sethroth here. So Sethroth is a 4 colorless, blue-black, legendary creature, human avatar soldier. Honestly, I could probably just build an avatar deck. 4/4 with vigilance. When Sethroth enters, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until the end of turn. Cool. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Sethroth. Planet's heir. Well, I did build that Deadpool deck that did a lot of destroying your opponent's creatures or having them just be defeated, and this could probably spin off into something similar to that. I guess we're kind of spoiling ourselves here, but we got a treasure token, we got a robot warrior, we've got a copy and another copy, and then just basic lands. Like I said, these look awesome. These look beautiful. Don't know that I will necessarily use them, but whatever. We're going at a good pace because I don't want to turn this into a super long video, but I did want to at least show it off because if John sent it to me, that probably meant that he wanted me to do something with it, and maybe he just wanted to torture me by making me have Final Fantasy cards. I don't know how to pronounce this. Saiyan? Not legendary. Okay, so colorless and a blue for a Merfolk warrior. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and it can't be blocked this turn. I could see this. Now, maybe in a Merfolk deck. Merfolk are pretty low to the ground, but I could see this in just a deck where you plan to be spending a significant amount of mana. Just a nice placeholder. Megapixie. Pronounce that wrong, I just know it. Generic and a blue for a creature fairy. 2/1 flying. When this creature attacks, surveil 1. So look at the top card of your library. Put it in. You may put it into your graveyard. So got 3 copies of that. Retrieve the Esper. 3 generic blue for a sorcery. Create the blue 3/3 blue robot warrior artifact creature token. Then if this spell was cast from the graveyard, because that's flashback, put 2 +1/+1 counters on that token. That's pretty cool. More and more flashback. Okay. Dreams of the Laguna. I'm probably pronouncing all these things wrong, even if it's English. Dreams of the Laguna. Okay, generic and a blue. Instant, surveil 1, then draw a card. Flashback for 3 and a blue. Oh, this also flashback for 5 and a blue. Don't mind a little bit of card filtering. That's pretty cool. Realms sketching. So this is where we're getting the copy. I can already tell. So it is a generic blue for a sorcery that create a token that's a copy of target artifact, creature, or land. Oh, that's cool. Not the most powerful thing, but I could see myself just throwing. I mean, it's a 1/0. I could see myself throwing that into a deck just to create a copy of a land. That's kind of cool. Ultimacia, Temporal Threat. 4 generic blue for a legendary creature, human warlock. Sure, that's a human. Why not? When this creature enters, tap all creatures your opponents control. I love that. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. You know, I might use that. Undercity Dire Rat. Generic and a black for a creature rat. When this creature dies, create a treasure token. Okay, that seems in 4 of those. That seems in flavor with what you would do to a rat in a game. You would get some kind of treasure out of it. Shinra Reinforcements. 2 generic and a black. When this creature enters, mill 3 and you gain 3 life. It is a human soldier 2/3. There are 3 copies of that. Soldiers in black are not completely out of the picture, but that is kind of a unique, I would think, creature type, unless I'm just completely missing something. I feel like you're more likely to see a warrior, and seeing them as soldiers is kind of interesting. Mill 3, gain 3 life. That I could see decks taking advantage of that. Sephiroth's Intervention, 3 copies of that. So we've got 3 generic, black, destroy target creature, instant speed, you gain 2 life. So, yep, all the better. He gets stronger and you defeat a creature. Cool. Shambling Scythe. I don't know. 2 generic and a black for a creature, mutant horror, 3/3. This creature enters tapped. All right. When you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay black. If you do, return this creature from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. I mean, it's a beginner deck. I could knock mana off this and probably be happy. 3/3 for 3 that enters tapped. You can kind of regrow. That all seems kind of leveled out. Albed Salvagers. Albed Salvagers. I played Final Fantasy X. I think I should know how to pronounce that. Human Artificer Warrior for 2 generic and a black. 2/3. When this creature or another creature or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's kind of passable. Overkill. A instant for... An instant for colorless and 2 colorless and a black. Target creature gets -0, -9999 until the end of turn. Yeah, that is overkill, isn't it? I'm trying to think of... I mean, it's fine. It's very flavorful. I'm trying to think if there's some kind of way that you can use this to, like, really do something interesting, and I don't think there is. I think you just do it for the laughs. Hey, why didn't you try out that sword? I mean, this is just funny. If you have someone who has like infinite toughness, just go for it. Evil Reawakening. 4 colorless and a black sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Okay. Oh, okay. I recognize this. Seymour Flux. Seymour. I forget how you pronounce it. Seymour Flux. I think we all pronounced it Seymour when I was in middle school. 4 generic and a black. Legendary creature, Spirit Avatar. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Honestly, I'm a pretty bad commander player. I maybe wouldn't mind doing this. A mono black deck that just pays a life. You draw an extra card every turn. You pull a +1/+1 counter. I think it's going to keep your threat profile pretty low. You're not doing something that impressive. Maybe you give it like flying. You give it trample. Or you give it lifelink. Like, it can do something, but it's not going to make people scared of you. Deadly Embrace. 3 generic black for a sorcery. Destroy target creature an opponent controls. Then draw a card for each creature that died this turn. It's a little steep, but if you kind of went out of your way to destroy a bunch of creatures, or a bunch of creatures happen to die, if you could give this flash, it'd be even better. Do it after someone else wraths, but I'm not going to pass it up. This is actually kind of I see the possibility here. Zandy Dark Mage. 2 generic, blue-black for legendary creature, human wizard. It's 3/3 with menace. Zandy gets +1/+1 for each non-creature, non-land card in your graveyard. Oh, that could get out of hand very quickly. Do a light amount of self mill, And yeah, I would say double sided or the dual the what's that was called? It was the double faced like land cycle or whatever that kind of came out of Zendikar, where you just have a bunch of like creature or sorry, you have a bunch of like non-creature spells on one side and the land on the other, and this only sees that side. I could see this being pretty fun. Then Magitech Scythe, 4 cost artifact equipment. When this equipment enters, you may attach it to a target creature you control. If you do, that creature gains first strike until the end of turn and must be blocked this turn if able. Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and equips for 2. I don't know that I would get a lot of use out of this, but I can certainly see how. Is it raised? No, it's not. Okay. I think it just looks raised in the reflection. I could see this being at least an interesting equipment. And then the towns just make blue black. They enter tapped, and they are a land type of town. But yeah, overall, gorgeous. Like I said, gorgeous land art. All this looks really cool. The power level is obviously not going to be too ginormous. Unfortunately, my kids are not old enough for me to kind of do like a head to head and just like see how it goes and let them kind of play it out. Blue black creature with vigilance. I don't think I completely absorbed that. That's interesting. That is it. Thank you for your time. We will see you all in the next Marvel the Gathering. This had nothing to do with Marvel. This is really more like universes beyond the marveling. I don't know, whatever. But thank you for your time. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.